él viene de una constelación que se llama Casiopea. Entonces yo vengo de esa constelación que es Casiopea, pero yo también me pregunto, ¿será verdad?
Just a heads up, this episode does touch on experiences like trauma, abuse, and mental health. I trust that you know yourself best, so tune in if you have capacity for it. Welcome back to the First in Healing podcast. My name is Priscila. I'm the host.
I'm Irene. I'm so glad to be here with you guys. I'm from Michoacan. I was born and raised for 13 years, and then I moved over here, and then right now I'm 30-ish.
Okay, so you were a teenager when you moved out here.
Yes, I was a teenager. Yeah.
Okay.
I was,
And before we started the episode, I was like, feel free to speak Spanish, because you told me that you had your own podcast some time ago where you spoke Spanish. And can you tell me the name of the podcast? I loved it. Like,
es La Voz de la Conciencia.
La Voz de la Conciencia.
First, it was between me and someone else, and then that person couldn't do it anymore, and then it was just me. And then after that, I was interviewing this group of spiritual persons that they were like experiencing different things on their path of spirituality, different views, different perspectives. But yeah, it's there. YouTube. I haven't deleted anything, so if you guys want to go and check it out, just FYI, it's in Spanish only. This is English and Spanish, but yeah.
Yes, I was telling you that I feel like it's so cool and important to do this, to speak Spanglish, to speak Spanish también, porque at least for me, since I grew up hearing Spanish, it just feels different when I listen to Spanish content.
La espiritualidad en español te conecta diferente que la de inglés. Like, because I've experienced both. I started with the Mexican guide, or and then I'm into right now with a white person, right? So they have different perspectives, and it's just really cool to see like these two different cultures. In Spanish, like very Mexican, and this English very white. It's kind of like a mix. It's very interesting. I feel like I connect with my ancestors a little bit more. I like this curandera type of vibe. I like herbs. I like my witchy stuff, but it's more into like plants. Yeah.
Well, I'm excited to get into this conversation. I think that you're gonna bring a very interesting topic to the table, which is growing up. Se me fue la palabra. Growing up atheist. There we go. Right?
Atheist, yes.
Yeah. And so, we started off strong talking about spirituality, and I think that that's going to be such a beautiful contrast to display. I haven't had an episode where that's been like the focal point, or maybe like a theme, right, that we discuss. So I'm excited to dive into that topic, but I would love to ask you, just for today, like in your current day-to-day, what is something that's coming up for you? Something that you're navigating, or a pattern that you're trying to work through? What's something that feels comfy to share with the audience?
Well, right now, like I said, I'm connecting more to my ancestors, to my curandera side. When I started my healing or my spiritual path, it was more about angels. It was more about the light, fifth dimension, all this high vibe. And then right now it's more earthy, where I can connect to my witchy side, where I'm working on getting to know my inner wisdom, because sometimes we forget that we have inner wisdom, and then we think that somebody else is coming tell you, oh, you should pray to this, and it's gonna give you your whatever you want. And so right now it's like trusting myself, trusting that I have magic inside of me and that I can create. But that path of knowing, like I said, the right plans, knowing the probably executing the right congruent and clear message for the universe to understand what you want, all that type of
Mm-hmm.
things. That's the thing that I'm working on, and also being congruent with what I do with who I am. So it's more inner than outer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay. I've mentioned in a few episodes how when I first started to awaken, I got this like word that just kept or phrase that kept coming in, which was grounded expansion. And I tend to get like visuals. So what I got was like a flower or a rose with roots, right? And I don't know why, like that kept coming up. And as I've been going on my path, I've been learning what that actually means. And I feel like what you're talking about is what that means. It's like, yes, we can, in awakening, we open our minds up, right? To maybe a lot of the things that we weren't open to in the past. And so that can make us look up, sideways, all of these different ways donde no estábamos viendo. And that can feel
Sí.
really floaty though. You can get disconnected from this experience, the human experience, let's say, or the 3D or your body even. And so there is a point where it's kind of like, come back, hey, come back to earth, come back to
You
your
still
body, you
you
like
still in
grow your
3D?
roots. You're still in the 3D. No nos vamos a, we're not going to float away quite yet. So like let's come back.
Yeah.
And it's so cool because that's what you're talking about, right? Like it's connecting to the earth, connecting to your body. Some people, if you guys are listening, like some people a veces get caught up in the readings, right? Let me get a reading here and an intuitive message here, and so that, like you're saying, it disconnects you from your inner wisdom. And it's so important that I feel that even like leaders in general, but spiritual leaders también, I think the future is going to be like they're always going to refer you back to you, you know? Like the goal shouldn't be, I have the answers, listen to me, it's my intuition. Like, yes, and what is your body saying? What is your wisdom saying?
And it's really important because everybody has a different path. Like
Mm.
we can be like, that's what I learned when I was in this circle of at the beginning of a new, like, like, because I was like, oh, like I'm not a spiritual, I'm atheist, where I go. So it's kind of like I met
Mm.
this girl, and then she's still a spiritual leader, but I was like, okay, I learned from her. But then when uh the split from her, it had to be like really from chaos, because if it wouldn't be from a chaos, I wouldn't
Mm.
separate myself and understand that she's going through her path, she's going a different direction from where I'm going. So that made me realize that, okay, it's fine to find a guru, a spiritual leader, whatever, but at the end of the day, your path is somewhere else. And then you have to learn from discernment yourself from, okay,
Mhm.
now it is the time for me to go leave this group, and probably I could find another one, but also understand that just I have to learn whatever I had to learn, and then thank you for the wisdom, and I'll apply it as I think my intuition says it's okay. Because sometimes I get
Mhm.
different insights, or well, not insights, it's like different people that I follow, it's like, oh, let's do this a spell and you need this and this, but then my intuition is telling me, oh, probably not this, it's okay for you to use this,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
also I'm reading I'm reading books about plants and stuff. It's kind of like also getting to know your own truth.
It's like carrying your inner, like your intuition as the compass as opposed to everyone else, cuz definitely otherwise you can get caught up in other people's experience that maybe isn't really for you, you know. In one of the episodes, I think it was a while ago, but I had mentioned how there were some people that I was following that I really like. a veces you find answers in others, right? The way they speak, the way they embody their energy and things like that. But there have been moments where those same people that I have found a lot of wisdom through maybe speak on something where I'm like, oh, that doesn't feel good inside my body, or that doesn't feel good with my intuition. And like you said, it is like almost a little bit heartbreaking because you're like, no, like I saw you in this light, or I put you in this maybe mini pedestal, but it's
Pedestal.
really
Uh-huh.
helpful to allow yourself to say, actually, this isn't for me, and step aside. So maybe as we talk about your journey, we can also loop in discernment, maybe like as you started to become spiritual. I think discernment is so important, and so we can talk about how we got there. But first, take us back a little bit. Take us to growing up and growing up an atheist. What did that like for you? Where does that take you? What memory pops up, or what would you like to share?
Yeah, when I was little, my dad is atheist. At this point in life, he's still atheist, and it was like growing up. My grandma used to be like, "Oh, let's go to church," and my dad will be like, "No, I don't want them to go. It just lies. That's not true." Yeah, you know those the ones that come and knock on your door and be like,
Uh-huh.
"Oh,
The Jehovah
yeah,
Witnesses. Mhm.
ajá." Sí, esos venían y tocaban y mi papá me decía, no les creas, están locos. And then I'm like,
Mm.
okay. So I kind of got that from my dad. I started like believing in that. My mom, she is spiritual, but she has never been really into a religious. So it's kind of like she believes in that. She has this paranormal activities experiences that she
Mm.
has. So she kind of
Mhm.
believes in the other side. So it
Mhm.
was like but my mom wouldn't she didn't care if we go to the church or not. We just so grew up, and then all my friends used to be like, ah, soy católica y esto, y era como que yo no creo nada de eso. And then
Mhm.
one night with my friend, we were talking, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna believe it until I see it. I see God. That was like my
Mm.
thing. Like, there's no way, you know, someone is gonna come and be like, there's God, because to me, I needed it to see it. So
Okay.
I used to go to church por convenenciera when they had like this, ¿cómo se llaman?
Eso,
Ajá, como en
posadas.
diciembre, ajá, ándale, las posadas, iba a las posadas
Ujú.
a la iglesia pero por conveniencia, no era porque
Okay.
realmente me nacía. Entonces
Yeah.
era como,
Por el
I just go
champurrado, los tamales.
a, a tragar, nada más.
Okay,
As-
okay. I wanna ask you, like, was it, era tema entre tu mamá y tu papá? ¿Eso? Como que did they argue about it, like, "Ay, tú con tus cosas," or, "Ay, tú con," like, or no? It wasn't, like, something they cared about.
Mi
Okay.
papá would argue if my mom would be like, oh, mire esto, cuando estaba chiquita me pasó esto, be like, yeah, that's not true. But if my dad would
Mm,
be like, oh, I don't believe it, my mom wouldn't argue. My mom would be like, well, what, I don't care. But my dad would. My dad would be like, oh, you know,
okay.
and he
Yeah.
still argues with me still, but it's
Okay,
his
so
path. I can't do anything about it. Yeah.
he's strong on what he believes. Um, and I'm wondering also, like, before we move into maybe your teenagers, but like, I feel like sometimes growing up, parents use that as a way to help them raise kids, like teaching about good and evil, or maybe teaching about morals and values. I'm wondering, how did your dad do that without religion, or did he do it? Like, what was that experience like?
Lo religioso y lo social se ha mezclado. Ya es
Mm,
infused.
mhm,
Ahora eres que si te pones esa falda, eres una facilona. Que my dad would like, he wasn't using anything on religion on me, but it was more
mhm.
social. Just because you're a woman, you're not supposed to. But if we see it, it's the same root. and religious as well. So it's
Mhm.
it's always been infused, but some people use it in religion as a religion's perspective, y el otro as a
Mhm.
social perspective. But if we see it, both of them are, the root is the same. It goes
Mhm.
from the same thing, but different people use, people use it differently. Porque a mí también me decía mi papá, tienes que estar sentada, calladita. It's something that I'm not. A mí me gusta el relajo, a mí me gusta, ¿sabes? I am what my dad didn't want in a girl.
Mm, mhm.
Desmadrosa, que le gusta la fiesta. And it was like, I'm sorry, but I'm the black sheep of the family, especially for I feel like I'm in this lineage to help my women lineage to break um traumas, especially like when it's sexual, when it's like more into like female energy. So that's why I feel like I I'm in this lineage where the female is very like punished in a
Okay.
way, but
Mhm.
then it's hard. It's kind of hard to explain.
Yeah, there's probably so many layers to it. Um, so maybe just going back, so okay, so you're right. I think like there is a lot of everything is mixed in. Essentially, we just give it different names, right? So some might say like eso no es de Dios. Others might say oh, this is fácil. What did you call it? Like facilona or whatever.
Facilona es
Um,
que eres un,
yeah.
ajá. Sí,
So yeah, there's different approaches to the same thing.
but it was
Yeah.
the same thing. At the end of the day, I felt like I was still punished by the carrier of being a good person or a good woman, but yeah, it was,
Mhm.
yeah, I was still like punished by that.
Okay. Do you remember growing up and, like, wishing that you believed in God? Like, I remember, por ejemplo, pues, como crecí rezando. I grew up Catholic. Well, my mom Catholic, my dad Christian, but I grew up and at least, like, we did pray, right? So like, oh, rézale a Diosito. So I think in moments where maybe I would get like a really sad thought. I remember I was really little and I thought like, oh my God, one day my parents are gonna die, and I just got so sad. And I remember I think I felt like I had God to say like, oh Diosito, like to pray, right? Do you ever remember a moment where you're like, man, I wish I did believe or like, "Hey, are you up there?" Something like that?
Yes, it was usually at night when I used to go to sleep, and I used to wonder what's gonna happen with me whenever I die. And I used to feel like an emptiness in my chest and in my stomach, and I used to feel like I will like fall into just echo and nothingness, and I
Mm,
used to feel like ugly. Like I cried. I used to cry at night and be like, what's gonna happen with me? Like with me after this? Like, where am I gonna be? Because like I said, I didn't believe in anything. So it was like, what's gonna happen? Like, am I just gonna just die in emptiness, nothingness? And it felt bad. I felt like lonely. I felt darkness. I don't know. It was just a really
wow.
weird feeling. But I
Mhm,
used to always wonder that. And on moments of chaos and something like, if I'm going through something, well, back then when I used to go through something, and I always used to ask myself, like, is there anything? Is someone out up there like listening to me, seeing what's happening to me? And if there
mm,
is, like, why you're not doing anything? Things
yeah,
like that.
yeah,
Things like
okay.
that. Yeah.
I see. And you were young, do you like, let's say, were you younger than your teens? Was it in your teen years? When do you remember starting to feel that?
It was like 8, 9, but when I
Okay.
was little, I was very sensitive to
Mm,
to energies. Like I was very, very sensitive. One day when I was little, I used to feel like, because I used to go to school, so like my school was like 4 blocks away from my house. So I was used to walk, caminaba, regresaba, and then 3 blocks away from my house. One day, out of nowhere, I started feeling this heaviness, like something in my house. And when I used to get to my house, there was something very, very heavy. And I used to tell my mom like, oh, and I used to had um ¿cómo se llama? Pesadillas, tenía pesadillas, soñaba
Mm,
con una persona que estaba en mi casa, era como un duende, pero it looked like that Lord of the Ring, that thing que
mm.
está como really skinny. It was really negative. It was like a heaviness in my shoulders. And it was little
Wow,
things
okay.
like that used to happen to me when I was little. Pero pues to me it was not related to God. You know?
Yeah. And what would your parents or your mom tell you when you would tell her?
Oh, at the beginning no one would believe me. Like my dad was like, no
Okay.
es cierto, está exagerando, solo quiere atención. Pero my mom said
Mm,
that it was keep going, like it was days after days. Like I don't remember if it was a month or something, but it was a long while that I felt that vibe. And then my mom heard on the radio like this ¿cómo se llama? Un rezo y que pusieran agua bendita a las esquinas de la casa, y eso es lo que hizo mi mamá. Y and
mm.
then few days after, it was gone. It it
Okay.
it cleared out. I didn't feel anything anymore, and I didn't dream with that thing anymore. It was out. So,
Mm. Did you know that your mom had done that or no?
sí,
Like, ¿te dijo?
mi mamá me dijo, me acuerdo que fuimos a la iglesia de la casa, que estaba cerca de la casa, y agarramos agua bendita de ahí de la iglesia, and we came back. And that's
Okay.
how, because that's how you used to get your information back then, through the radio.
The radio,
So
yeah.
so that's how my mom found the solution. And I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
then
Did that make you think like, "Oh, maybe there is a God?"
yo pues creía en el diablo. En ese sí creía. O sea, porque
Mm.
my mom used to tell us different, como things that happened to her, como cosas así de terror y todo eso. Y luego en la casa de mi abuelita, de su mamá, the vibe in there, it was ugly too. We were always afraid of that house. A mi hermano le jalaron los pies cuando estaba durmiendo. Dice que él nada más sintió como something dragged them out of the, not completely out, pero sus pies sí estaban afuera de la cama. Entonces he was like, what the fuck this is? I don't want to sleep there. There wasn't a specific room all the
Mhm.
way up in la azotea, donde he was like, no one used to sleep in that room, like no one, because there was always someone saying like, oh, that thing, there's something in there, we don't want to be in there.
Mm.
So
Mhm.
yeah,
Wow.
cosas así siempre. Creo que my gift comes from my mom's side of the family. Yeah.
Okay. How
And
interesting then that you guys that, for example, your mom maybe didn't talk about God, but was like, "Oh, sí hay cosas son del diablo", básicamente.
sí, o cosas malas, ajá, sí.
Cosas malas. Okay, got it. Okay. So, as you started to grow up then, what was another moment that stands out of like, yeah, of this path?
Well, mm, I would say the next thing, it was like my spiritual awakening. Um, it was back in COVID. Creo que sí. So I met this guy on 2019, like by November. Is like November, and and I was living by myself with my son. And then I used to have an apartment, and I was getting to know him, and then eventually we started like going out. And I had a dream where I used to see my grandma. She's dead, or like she died. And then I used to tell my grandma, like, help me. And my grandma in that dream, she just literally ignored me. And I was asking her
Mm.
for help, right?
Mhm.
So a week before uh COVID, me and this guy that I used to date, um, we kind of decided, we're like, oh, next weekend we're let's my son is not gonna be with me, it's gonna be with my mom. We can spend the weekend together in my apartment. And he was like, yeah, sure. But I already seen red flags from him, that he was really controlling and everything, but I wasn't paying attention. My
Oh, okay.
dumbass. Yeah, so so
Sí. Querías
Friday,
amorcito, calorcito.
sí, yo quería pito. No, es cierto.
Eso también, I guess.
Sí, yo quería. Y pues como el amigo estaba bien dotado, pues yo decía, ay, de aquí soy. Pero
Okay, okay. So iba a ser a good weekend for you. That's what you
exactly.
hoped. Okay.
Aha. So Friday came, oh, and then they shut down. That
Mm,
Friday, I think it was the shutdown, and the next whole week it was gonna be no work, because he
okay.
kept calling me that Friday, like, "Are you home? Where you going? What are you doing?" This, like, very controlling. So I was like, "Oh yeah, yeah,
Mm,
salí todo," and he was at my apartment already. Like, he was at my apartment. He's like, "Oh, you know what time are you gonna get here? Whatever." But didn't know that he was into drugs. I did not know. Like,
oh,
that's something
okay.
I didn't know. So he used to work on construction, so he started, since they were gonna be laid off early and whatever, like, I guess he started like drinking early with his co-workers, whatever, I don't know. But when I
Mm,
got home, he seemed different. Like, I
oh.
noticed that he was into something. So he
Mhm.
started being paranoid, saying that I was cheating on him and all this crap. And then that night, we got into an argument, we got into a fight. Well, the thing is that he ended up beating me up and sexually abused me. It was ugly. It was really bad, because after that, when he beat me up, I got unconscious. When I woke up, he didn't even wanna let me go. I was like almost 1 day and a half, kind of like, um he was keeping me hostage for like a day and a half,
Mm,
because he didn't want to let me go. But and that's when I remember the dream, because when he didn't want to let me go, because that happened at night, and then all that thing, and then in the morning, I was praying for my grandma. I was like, grandma, like, help me out. Like, what do I do? Like, should I? Like, I was not in good conditions,
did
and
you have your phone or he took it or what? Like,
yeah, he took everything, my keys,
oh,
everything. He didn't even sleep to make sure I was not gonna run away. So at at, at the end, he fall asleep, because I guess his body can't, resist too long to sleep. So I was sneaking out like really quick. I didn't Trust me, I didn't grab keys, I didn't grab phone, I didn't grab anything. All I wanted
wow.
was run. All I wanted, like,
Mm,
so I was able to like sneak out. When I get out of the door, I was like, I felt free. And then I'm when I used to live in that apartment, my friend lived close by, so I ran
mhm.
to her apartment. So when I got there, she saw
Okay.
me. She was like, "Oh my god, what happened to you?" We went to police station, and it took like hours to get my testimonial, because then
Mm.
they came back and see if he was in there. He was not in there anymore. He left. He
Oh,
ran
okay.
away. So um well, that happened to me. Then that the whole week it was a shutdown. There was no therapist. It was
Oh,
nothing. I
yeah.
was like left with nothing. Like I couldn't go anywhere. It was just, it was, I feel like that was like the dark night of the soul or something like that for me.
Yeah, yeah.
And so then uh it was, no me acuerdo qué día fue, pero I was scrolling down my phone, and I saw this spiritual therapist. Since everything was closed, I was like, I need help. I need emotional help. I need a
Mm.
therapist. So it's kind of like
Yeah.
I book. She couldn't have one-on-one therapy by that time. She was already booked, but she had this como talleres de como sanando tu niña interna, sanando tus
Mm.
heridas. Entonces yo dije, I'm gonna do that. You know, that's gonna
Okay.
help me out this whole week through to kind of help me out what I went through. So it happened. I started working on myself. I started working on my healing, my inner child, which I didn't know about. I didn't know anything about that. My abandoned wounds, rejection wounds, all of that stuff.
Mhm.
And I started meditating, and it worked for me and for my depression and um mi ansiedad en ese momento. So I started meditating, and one day I was just meditating. It was like after that happened, como 1 or 2 months after, solo así meditando, healing my inner childs and everything. And then one night, because I used to like meditate every night, y una vez in my meditation, I started feeling how my body started floating. So I started floating, like I started floating, and then I felt like como subía y subía y subía, but it was just, I don't know, it was weird. And then I saw some like feet right here, unos pies enfrente de mí, y yo como que I looked up, and then my body kind of went up a little bit to kind of, I guess, just meet up with this person or with this
Mhm.
being. And I saw this beautiful being. It had like curly hair, wavy curly hair, como hasta aquí, como un güerito, and it was beautiful. All I remember is how beautiful it was. It was su nariz respingada, sus ojos azules. It was just perfect for me. It was like, oh my god. But then the funny thing is that we started speaking, but we started speaking through our third eye, which means
Mm.
from telepathy. Y
Mhm.
yo le decía
Ajá.
a él que, yo le decía, ya, ¿cuándo voy a terminar de sufrir tanto? Y entonces él
Ujú.
me dijo, no te preocupes, todo va a estar bien. But it was like I knew him. It made me
Mm.
feel like I, I didn't, I didn't get scared or anything like that. I just felt peace, like a peace that I have never felt before. It was so peaceful. It was so beautiful. And then whenever he said, "You're gonna be okay, vas a estar bien, no te preocupes," I came back in my body. And when I woke up and I saw that I was meditating, I was crying because
Wow.
when I woke up, I was
Yeah.
just crying. I was like, "What the fuck just happened to me? Did I
Oh
just?
my
What did I
gosh.
saw? Like." And so I went to I asked my spiritual teacher, and she was like, "Yeah, you just met your angel. That is your spirit guide." I was like, "It makes sense because it felt like I know him and he knows me." You know,
Mm.
it was
Mhm.
beautiful. And since then, it's my my whole life changed. That's why I told you, like when I was speaking with my friend, I was like, I'm not gonna believe until it happens to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I was like, that was my my awakening to know that there's something else out there.
I think meditating is such a powerful tool, but when you're going through so much, it can be hard to tune in because, like, a lot of us are so used to escaping, right? What we're feeling or trying to not feel. And meditating is like, it's like you're zooming in, you know? How did you do that? Or how did you experience it that it made you want to do it more?
Well, first, I think that the first thing that it helped, it was doing dos sanación con mi niña interna y trabajar con el rechazo, con el abandono, con la injusticia. Creo que para mí fue ideal lo que esta muchacha brought to the table for me because it was first go into me in me and recognize that I had a lot of woundings. And like you said, like sometimes we don't want to listen to that. We don't want to listen that we feel abandoned, rejected. And then, yeah, at the beginning, is so many thoughts at once. But the thing with her, she always said, is like, listen to them. Always listen to what your thoughts want to say. Like, if you're meditating and today is like, fuck my husband, oh, lo odio, I want to fucking punch him, but cry with it. Cry with, oh my God, like, oh, mi hijo ya me tiene estará. Or my mom, I fucking hate my mom. And then if you sit down with it and then and brings you anger or sadness or anything, let it. Just let it. And probably that was your meditation. Something that I learned from her is that meditating is not only sitting down and just no, we can meditate in
Mm,
different ways. Meditating
mhm,
is this inner awareness of you. You can literally be walking and meditating. Or sometimes you're at the store and then there's a long line and then you start doing this and it calms you. Like te tranquiliza
mm,
porque estás anxious. Esa es
mhm,
meditación también porque te estás it's a way of kind of grounding yourself, kind of going to yourself. I don't know, and that's the way she says it of meditating different ways. I feel like that helps a lot too.
mm, yeah.
Dancing, being aware when you're dancing and how you feel, or it's just different ways of meditating. And later on, whenever, like, let's say there's people that cannot even meditate for like 5 minutes, it's okay for those 30 seconds. You can come back later or you can come back tomorrow and sit down a little longer, and then one day you're gonna be floating like me.
Up
Not
in the
just
sky.
joking. Dying. Yeah.
No, but it's true. It's like a practice, and I think what you're giving there, I mean, you were talking about it like inner child. I think you're showing up for you. You know, it's like showing yourself, "Hey, I'm here. What do you need to say?" What's standing out right now is like the contrast, right? The contrast of your upbringing and then what happened around COVID time, and not even maybe you said I think 2 months later, you're like kind of floating, meeting this being. I imagine the being transmitted a sense of peace, right? Like, because it's like an energy that they transmit. So when you come down, what happens then? Like, how do you integrate, right? Because I feel like those are such it's a big duality, pues, de lo que viviste y de lo que sentiste ahora. Entonces, what was like your next couple of months? What did that look like?
I feel like being having this sense of there's like a protection from something bigger than me. It brought me a lot of peace. But then I wanted it to know more about it. I wanted it to know more because if you want to know where's this been from, like what does he want, like am I gonna be like this next Jesus Christ, which is no, but it was all this. What is it like? What's on my path that I need to learn or that I need to know, or this bigger sense of knowing what I'm here for. what's my path, what's like quería descubrir todo. O sea, I was like, I want to know why, where, and what's
So you
next.
had a lot of questions. And
Exactly.
do you think it was so powerful that you didn't question it? Because like you grew up with your dad saying estás exagerando or you're making it up. So like or was it just like, nope, that's truth, for you since maybe in the past you didn't know what that felt like?
Hasta el día de hoy creo que eso lo que me dejó fue to keep questioning myself. Until this day, I want to keep questioning myself. I want to keep questioning everything because we all know that we don't know nothing. That's like
Mm.
my my quote that I wanna have it. I wanna put a tattoo on me like solo sé que yo no sé nada. Porque
Mm.
creo que muchas personas ya piensan que porque ya hicieron talleres y ya estuvieron con los gurús más chingones, ya, o sea, ya sé todo, yo ya sé todo y a mí pregúntame. No, it's like sometimes you had to question that too. Sometimes you had to be like, hold on, wait a minute. Like, is it true? Is it not true? And at this day, I'm like, is this being, for what I learned, es de que él viene de una constelación que se llama Casiopea. Entonces yo vengo de esa constelación que es Casiopea. Pero yo también me pregunto, ¿será verdad? It was a channeling. It's a channel that I made that he told me he was from there. Pero I keep questioning myself, like, is it real? Like, is it you really from there? And all I can really say to myself is probably when I cross over to the other side, I'm actually gonna know the truth of it, or I'm actually gonna be
Yeah.
able to know more about it. Because I feel like yes, I can connect with my spiritual guy. Yeah, sometimes I talk to him or I receive messages. Sometimes through telepathy or una señal de una pluma o like I will walk and I will read something. It will make so much sense to me that I'll be like, oh, okay, so this is the message, and I get it and I understand it, no. Pero a veces es como um I need to question, like, not believe everything. I don't know. I don't know if I explaining myself.
Yeah, I think so because I think on this path, it is hard to know. It's like we're creating our own truth and it's a way of existing and moving through the world that we don't always that is a very personal thing. So for example, for you, you're like, "Oh, I see a symbol or a quote, it makes sense to me." I think similarly, like I experience synchronicities or coincidences or things, and for me, they feel so aligned that it's like, "Oh my god, like this is truth," and it feels really cool. But yeah, there's always this self-doubt of like, am I making it up? Or maybe it worked today, but maybe tomorrow it won't. And I think también, like, when we experience things that are really hard, it makes sense that we look for other thanness, right? Like a something greater to give us that peace. And I don't know if you feel the same, but I think I'm like at a point where maybe I'm like, you know what? The peace that whatever this brought me, truth or not, was enough to get me to the next step. And I feel good with that. That's kind of, I think, how I've made sense of things.
Yeah, I totally understand that because yes, I think I agree with you because sometimes it's either probably I don't have to experience that right now, so I'm just like you said, as long as it brings me peace and comfort, probably later on I'll change my mind or it hits different or my intuition takes it differently. But for
Mm,
today, this is what brings me peace, so I'll take it. As long as it's peaceful, you know,
yeah,
I'm okay with
yeah.
it.
Porque, ¿sabes? Es lo mismo, bueno, when I'm trying to make sense of things, I think, like, es lo mismo con con el amor, hay que decir, right? El amor no se ve, el amor, like, a lo mejor in the future, that person does you dirty, let's say. So this magical, beautiful thing that made you experience certain things and feel certain things, even like friendships too, um, I think it's like that's what spirituality can be too. Or that's what it is. It's intangible things that you go through and you experience, and they move you through life, you know? And let's say when a breakup happens, you could say, "Oh, well, everything back looking back was fake." Right? But I don't know if that
Yes.
makes sense, but, like,
No, yeah, yeah,
similar
yeah.
similar with spirituality. Yes, maybe at some point, like you said, we change our mind, we recognize, "Dang, maybe I let myself go too left or too right," but so does everything else in life.
Yeah, and I feel like that comes with we're here to learn. I feel like sometimes things happen for us to learn something. Sometimes it's just like I feel like until we're if you open yourself to learning, I feel like life is gonna expand you, because I feel like the people who closest their minds and be like, oh, this is me and I'm not gonna change, I'm already 40, 60, and I'm like that. I feel like you're closing yourself. Y eso también es que cuando te transformas a veces es caótico y la gente no quiere pasar por lo
Mhm.
caótico. La gente dice, no, no, and I understand that because sometimes it's hard. Sometimes it's hard to
Yeah.
experience certain things, and it's kind of like, okay, um, como dices tú, it's kind of like love. Sometimes you shut down porque you don't want to feel that emotion of heartbreak or disappointment or cheating or whatever. And I feel like that's the thing that transforms us. That's the thing that makes us grow as a person. So it's kind of like also taking it as probably this is gonna transform me, and if I don't see it right now, is because I'm gonna see why later on. Like everything is gonna make sense later on.
Mhm. How did you start to integrate everything you had been through in such a short period of time? Like from January to, let's say, the spring, March, April, you had experienced like deep trauma and then like healing of sorts or an awakening essentially. How did you start to like integrate that? Because you're basically holding a lot, you know, or you were holding a lot.
The only way I could sustain that was transforming myself, because there's no
Mm,
way for me to that I went through that and I was still the same person. I think that came with a lot of transformation, inner transformation, especially seeing things in a different perspective, being able to open to my authentic self, because that's another thing that kind of made me realize that I was in auto mode, that I was always
mm,
feeling empty, and that I was always
uh-huh.
feeling like, oh, here's the weekend, we're gonna get drunk, we're gonna see who can we fuck with, and then feel empty, always trying to find that connection. But at the end of the
Mhm.
day, you will never find that connection because you don't have that connection with you. So what makes you think that you ever gonna
Mm.
have that connection with somebody else? So it's kind of like
Wow.
learning that I need to connect with myself, who I am, because apparently who I thought I was, I'm not anymore. Because what I thought I knew about myself is not there anymore, because I saw it being, because I saw another thing. So this person is different now. So I'm not now I had to discover this another person, this another
Mm.
Irene, you know? And it's kind of
Mhm.
like I'm gonna see who I am. So it's since that day to now, I'm getting to know myself, what I like.
Okay.
I learn how
Mhm.
to set boundaries with the persons that are not healthy for me. I had to say goodbye to the persons that doesn't let me grow anymore.
Mm.
I had to also be okay with not other people want to grow, and that they still want to be the victim, or they still want to be the poor me. So it's kind of
Mm,
like I had to change all of that. I had to
mhm.
again find my tribe or the persons that are more similar to me, because otra cosa, like and now I know that I knew since something very inner that religion was not the way, because yo nunca
Okay.
creí en la religión, nunca, nunca creí, y ahora entiendo que algo adentro de mí, mi sabiduría interna sabía que la religión no era, o sea, no era. Porque when I was little, for me, something that was very confusing was that, oh, Dios es amor, Dios te ama, pero, pero si eres gay, no entras a la
Mm,
religión. Si eres esto, no entras. Entonces para mí era, pero si Dios ama, ¿cómo me vas a decir que ama a unos y a otros no? So that was always my fight with religion. So now I
okay, yeah.
understand that my inner wisdom knew that church was never the answer. And now I know
Mm,
why, you
mhm.
know. So that
Isn't that
was
so
another
cool
thing.
and so crazy? Like we are tapped in, we just don't know it sometimes. I'm wondering what parts of you were hard to let go. Cuz one thing is to logically or mentally analyze and understand, oh, son mis heridas and these are the patterns. It's another thing to be able to like detach from them and embody this other part of you, right? So
Yeah.
what were some of the sticky ones, the ones that were hard for you to let go of or to break cycles of?
The definition of love, I feel like it's changing a little bit.
Okay. Mhm.
So that's another thing that I'm working on. Es que I would like to get into that topic, but since it's something that I'm still working on, es como pensamos que el amor se ve de una manera, pero a veces el amor es diferente. No, I don't know. This is the thing that I'm still working on, and
Yeah.
and and it's that thing too. Like what we call love. Is it really love?
I think as we start to question everything, we start to realize that a lot of things are a project like we are the center of all of our experiences, right? And so based on how we feel and experience and think and believe, then we project out things. So, like, we project what is love, we project what is peace, we project, but as we change, the projection of that thing changes, you know? So, like, maybe if I think love means you, let's say, I've been tuning into like feminine energy, right? And I've been recognizing that some mujeres feel like they're loved because their husband listens to everything they say and gives them everything they want. Well, that's a projection of that person, of that version of being loved, right? She's like, ay, pues es que me compra lo que quiero y me hace caso y no me hace preguntas. For me, in this version of me, I don't actually think that's love because I want someone who listens to me and communicates. There's a back and forth, there's a union, right? So, like, but, and then later I'll evolve and I'll think love is something different. So I think, I don't know si le estoy atinando, but I think that's what I've been realizing is like everything, even abundance, money, security, safety, success, everything, the center of it all is us. So as we transform,
Yes.
how we see life transforms and how we see those other things transforms, you know?
Yeah. Yes. 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 Because for somebody, it's like you show me love by yo te mantengo, aquí estás en mi casa y aquí estás, ¿no? Y
Mm,
para otra persona eso no es amor para mí porque yo no voy a crecer como persona porque yo también quiero ser dependiente. So it all depends on the love that you require or the definition of love, because some women would think that giving you everything and kind of like, oh, es que también eso de tú me das y yo te doy, es como, I'm not saying that's not love, but my question is, if I don't give you, that doesn't mean I don't love you. It just questioning after question, it just digging in. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Thank you so much for sharing so much today. I feel like there's a lot of things that people will be able to relate to and take from. And the fact that we started with your podcast, which I'm sure some people will want to check out now, um, which is Voces, era como Voces
Oh,
Conscientes.
la voz de la conciencia.
La voz de la conciencia. Okay, yeah. So
Pero
now it makes sense, even that name, you know?
sí, 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 sí.
Mhm.
Por eso,
Mhm.
por todo lo que pasé. Entonces, yeah,
Yeah.
that's the name I
Maybe
gave.
I have like one last question before I ask you the quicker ones, the resources, which is like, as you've gone through all of this, how has it changed what you see for yourself in the future? So you started a podcast. Do you currently work with people like one-to-ones? Like, what do you see for yourself uh, after going through it all?
I That's something that I question myself. I know that I came here to share something. I
Okay.
know that. I'm gonna find it and it's gonna find me. So right
Mm,
now it's like I'm working on myself. I'm working on uh breaking all these beliefs that I used to have, getting to know myself better. I'm also working. I'm working with plants. I'm working with my inner witch, my ancestral. So I don't know if that path is gonna take me to where I have to go or where I
mm.
have to do. So it's like I'm still working on that.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. It's valid. I think like I do think there's a waiting room before you step into what you're meant to do. I really do think so. It is like, and I think like, bueno, at least me and a few people that I know, we've come to that conclusion like it's gonna find me, or it's, like it's gonna be this full body yes when you know like this is where I'm supposed to go next or do with the information that I have. So that's exciting to know, that you're in that path. um, and yeah, like I said,
It,
thank you so much. Uh-huh.
can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
What was it for you that you said this is what I want to do? Right now, probably the podcast is your thing, but what was it for you to say I wanna dive in to be a spiritual leader in a way because you're communicating and bringing these people in to your spiritual uh um space, like, was it something that you knew instantly, like, because I used to do that, but then I doubt myself, and I don't know if I don't think I want to do podcasts anymore, but
Okay.
what was it for you that you were like, okay, this is it?
Ooh. You know what's so interesting? Is that when you were talking, I was already like, I'm gonna, tenía algo que te iba a decir. But then you said like, I'm waiting for like that thing to come in and I know it's gonna find me. And I was like, okay, mejor no lo digo, ¿verdad? Like, I think like you need to trust your own timing porque that's perfect también. But what I was gonna tell you is that the permission slip that you're looking for is in you. The same thing, the wisdom is within you. Sometimes we're looking for that permission slip from something greater than us, right? Like, and remember how we said the projections? When we project like, oh, I have to be perfect, well then maybe yeah, it's going to extend the timeline for you because you think the permission slip will come at some point, right? I think
Yes.
I realized that that permission slip had to come from me. And so I was like, I'm feeling these things, I'm experiencing this. Um, I'll mention another thing. Yo veo muchos contenido de México, de comediantes. Y vi y me di cuenta que todos los caminos de las personas que yo admiro empiezan de un lugar imperfecto. Nadie empieza de perfecto. No one starts from inspirational, wow, amazing. Like everyone starts from where they are with what they have. And so I realized even if, let's say, my podcast or my sessions are not these amazing things. In order to get to those, I have to start from here. I can't jump, you know? And so it was kind of like the permission slip was the permission to start from zero. This is not what I thought I was going to be doing with my life. And yet here I am. I experienced, my awakening. I experienced my intuition. I experienced the realizations, like downloads, right, that I'm sure you receive. And so I understood.
Yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, no, makes a lot of sense. I feel like it's is that I know I need to share, but like you said, I really need to give myself that consent of, you know what, just do it. Start somewhere doing something, and like you said, eventually it's gonna work out. Like it's going to work out. Yeah, yeah, you're right. Yes, you're so right. I feel like that's a very like cliche
Yeah.
quote, but until you don't experience it, you don't understand it. You get
Mhm.
me?
Mhm.
No, yeah,
Yeah.
you're so right.
So believe in yourself, date el permiso. Today, I mean, this was a beautiful conversation to me. I feel like you have so much to offer, and you
Oh,
already said
thank
it,
you.
like attract your tribe, like there are people who are wanting to, like, one thing that I heard was some people can only hear themselves through your words. So, like how a veces alguien te da un consejo y otro te da el mismo consejo and you never actually do it until maybe someone that you love or respect or look up to says it and it all clicks. As
Yeah,
guides, a veces the same thing. It takes a certain type of person with certain type of background, with a certain type of voice even, to be like, oh my God, yeah, that makes sense to me. So it doesn't matter if 100 people are saying the same thing that you are. It's so much more goes into it.
yeah,
So yeah, that's part of it también.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
okay, I know I've taken up a lot of your time, so I'm just gonna go through these
No, no, no.
questions quickly. For those that are listening and are like, ooh, like I wonder what books she read, podcasts, things like that. So that's the resources question part of the podcast. So what's a powerful book, movie, or podcast that has helped you on your path?
Something that I like that's probably not a movie, but it's a series that I really like is The Gospel. I don't know if you've
Okay.
seen that show
No,
on Netflix.
no.
No? The Midnight Gospel or
Yes.
este,
Okay. Uh-huh. It's a
ese.
cartoon. Mm-hmm.
Yes. That one
It
I loved it. Like it's not a movie but it's a series and I really love it.
it's
Like
so good, huh? Yeah.
have you seen it?
If I have, yeah. I've seen it
Okay.
in different ways. I even saw it one time closing my eyes because since it's so distracting, like the visuals of it, I wanted to hear because the conversation is so good. And I don't know if you know, but this is audio from a podcast. So se llama el señor Duncan Trussell, and every episode is a podcast episode that they turned into a cartoon. Like, but the audio is from yeah, a podcast. So se llama Duncan Trussell. Es un hippie rarito el señor. But
Pero es
look
muy
it up.
bueno.
Yeah, you
I'm
might
gonna
like
look
it.
it up.
Mhm. But I
Okay.
love that one. Thank you for reminding me of that series. Okay, what about an inspiring or uplifting song that you used to listen to?
I have this artist that I really love. She is English and Spanish, and most of her um songs are very spiritual, very like healing.
Okay.
And she goes by Amber Lucid, and one of her well, in my personal preference is the song Un Animal, and
Mhm.
another song that is 555 from Harshil, Har Harshal, Harshal, but it's in Spanish. All her songs,
Okay.
those two songs that I really love. Yeah.
Okay. Amber Lucid. A favorite mindful practice or grounding practice?
Oh, dance. I think dancing,
Dance.
obviously not clubbing, but like sometimes when I feel like very anxious or very there's something going on, like very like hard, like going on in my life or whatever, I feel like dancing, it grounds me a lot.
What about a quote or advice that you love to refer back
I
to?
would say don't follow blindly. I would say like
Mm,
especially right now with people that are in their spirituality, I would say yeah, it's okay to have someone that would tell anything from their experiences, but just don't follow them just because. Like you said, it's okay to question. It's okay to kind of discern how what you feel, your intuition. I feel like that's something that will really suggest people. Kind of like it's
mhm.
okay to kind of lead into spiritual teachers, gurus, but always trust you and your inner voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's super important. Remember that people, like for those of you listening, remember that people can only speak from their truth and their reality. What about either a journal prompt or a question to the listeners? So, like
Ah,
algo que they can reflect on or just like, yeah, sit with.
les quiero dejar una pregunta. Is the person that you are right now is the person that you actually want to be? Is that your authentic self? Like whatever you're doing right now, is it really showing you? Like, because you could be doing so many things. Oh, I'm doing music, I'm doing terror, I'm doing um no say working on restaurants or whatever. Is that really showing your soul, what you want to be, what you want
Mm,
to do, your dreams? Like question that, and question if you are being authentic on whatever you're doing. Always that, like question
okay.
that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, I love that. And the last one, you have an audience of fellow first gens listening to you. So, what's a mensajito that you want to leave them with, or just a reminder?
I would say respect your peace. Always respect your peace. Mm, whatever makes you no, whatever does not make you feel peace, you have to bring a boundary, or you have to draw a line and kind of step away from it. Like whatever it is, it's a friend, it's a parent, it's a anything that you don't, it doesn't go with you, you just have to let it go. I think that's when you do that, you're being authentic to yourself. I would say that.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful.
Big.
Pues muchas gracias, mujer. I appreciate your time and your sharing your journey with us. All of her information will be in the description, even the podcast. If you guys want to go check that out. Thank you guys for listening. And if you found today's episode helpful, make sure that you send it to your amigas, amigos, amigues. Let me know if I missed a question. If you're like, man, I wish you would have asked her this. Let me know in the comments what you would have asked her. And remember, first gen, that I love you, I love me, and I can't wait for you to love yourself. Bye.